For more than a century, sailors, pilots, and explorers have whispered the same terrifying question. What really happens inside the Bermuda Triangle? Imagine, you're flying thousands of feet above the Atlantic Ocean. The weather seems calm. Your instruments are working. The horizon stretches endlessly in every direction. Then, without warning, your compass begins to spin. Your radio fills with static. Navigation no longer makes sense. Within minutes, every connection to the outside world is gone. And then, silence. No distress call. No wreckage. No survivors. Just another unexplained disappearance added to one of the greatest mysteries in modern history. Some people believe the Bermuda Triangle is cursed. Others insist it hides a gateway to another dimension. There are theories about Atlantis, UFOs, sea monsters, magnetic anomalies, secret military experiments, and even supernatural forces. But beneath all of these incredible stories lies a far more fascinating question. What does the evidence actually tell us? Tonight, we separate myth from reality. This is the true story of the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is not an officially recognized place on any world map. You won't find international borders marking its edges. Instead, it is an imaginary triangle stretching across the western Atlantic Ocean. Its three corners are generally considered to be Miami, Florida, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the island of Bermuda. Together, they surround an enormous area covering roughly 500,000 square miles, making it one of the busiest shipping and aviation corridors on Earth. Every year, thousands of cargo ships, cruise liners, fishing vessels, private yachts, military aircraft, and commercial airliners safely cross this region. Yet despite the constant traffic, the Bermuda Triangle has become synonymous with mystery. Because throughout history, several famous disappearances captured the world's imagination. Some remain unsolved even today. The story begins long before the phrase Bermuda Triangle even existed. In 1492, Christopher Columbus was crossing the Atlantic during his first voyage to the Americas. While sailing through waters near the region, he recorded several unusual observations in his journal. He reported strange lights appearing over the ocean. He described his compass behaving unexpectedly. At one point, he even mentioned seeing what looked like a glowing object rising from or sinking into the sea. To Columbus and his crew, these events were unsettling. Centuries later, people would point back to these diary entries as the earliest hints that something unusual existed in these waters. But were these truly supernatural events? Or were they simply natural phenomena, misunderstood by sailors navigating an unknown ocean? We'll return to that question later. As the centuries passed, countless ships crossed these waters without incident. Then, in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, stories of mysterious disappearances began spreading across newspapers. One of the earliest legends involves a sailing ship called the Ellen Austin. According to the popular story, while crossing the Atlantic, the crew discovered another ship drifting at sea. The vessel appeared perfectly intact. Its cargo remained untouched. Its sails were still raised. Yet not a single person could be found aboard. The captain supposedly ordered several sailors to board the abandoned vessel and sail it alongside his own ship. But after a violent storm, the mysterious ship vanished once again, along with its new crew. It's a chilling tale. There's only one problem. Modern historians have searched shipping records, newspaper archives, and insurance documents for evidence that this event actually happened exactly as described. To this day, no definitive historical proof has ever been found. The story survives mostly through retellings that grew more dramatic over time. Already, The line between history and legend begins to blur. Then came one disappearance that was very real, one that shocked the United States Navy, one that remains one of the greatest maritime mysteries in American history. In March 1918, a massive Navy cargo ship known as USS Cyclops departed Barbados, carrying over 300 crew members and more than 10,000 tons of manganese ore. The vessel was one of the largest ships in the U.S. Navy at the time. Everything appeared normal. No major storms were reported along its route. No distress signal was ever received. Then, the ship simply disappeared. No wreckage, no lifeboats, no survivors, nothing. Despite extensive searches, the USS Cyclops has never been found. It remains the single largest non-combat loss of life in the history of the United States Navy. What happened to the Cyclops? Structural failure? A rogue wave? Enemy action during World War I? Or something else entirely? More than a century later, no one knows for certain. And this disappearance would become one of the foundations upon which the legend of the Bermuda Triangle was built. December 5th, 1945, World War II had just ended. The United States Navy was conducting what should have been an ordinary training exercise over the Atlantic Ocean. 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers prepared for a routine navigation mission from Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The mission was known simply as Flight 19. The weather forecast looked favorable. The pilots were experienced. The aircraft were fully fueled. Nothing suggested that this routine exercise would soon become one of the greatest aviation mysteries in history. Shortly after takeoff, everything appeared normal. The 5 aircraft reached their first navigation point and completed the bombing practice successfully. Then, something changed. At approximately 3:40 p.m., the flight leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, radioed the control tower. His voice sounded confused. "Both my compasses are out. I'm trying to find Fort Lauderdale. I'm over land, but it's broken. I'm sure I'm in the Florida Keys, but I don't know how far down." The operators on the ground were immediately puzzled. According to the flight plan, Taylor should have been flying east, over the Atlantic. Instead, he believed he was somewhere entirely different. As the minutes passed, the situation became increasingly desperate. The radio transmissions grew more alarming. The pilots reported that even the ocean looked strange. One transmission has often been quoted as saying, "Everything looks wrong. Even the ocean doesn't look as it should." Whether those were the exact words remains debated, but the message reflected growing confusion inside the cockpit. The flight leader was convinced they had lost their bearings. Without knowing their true location, every decision risked taking them farther away from safety. The Atlantic Ocean in this region is incredibly deep. Combined with strong currents such as the Gulf Stream, wreckage can be scattered across vast distances within hours. Even today, finding debris in these waters can be extraordinarily difficult. As for the rescue aircraft, many historians believe it suffered an entirely separate tragedy. The PBM Mariner had earned a troubling nickname among Navy crews, the flying gas tank. Because of fuel vapor problems, several mariners had exploded unexpectedly in flight. On the very evening Flight 19 disappeared, a nearby merchant ship reported seeing a massive explosion in the sky, followed by burning fuel floating on the ocean. Many investigators believe the rescue aircraft exploded shortly after takeoff. If true, its disappearance had nothing to do with the missing bombers. Yet despite these reasonable explanations, one fact remained unchanged. No complete wreckage of Flight 19 has ever been conclusively identified. Ground controllers repeatedly instructed the pilots to fly west. If they flew west long enough, they would eventually reach the Florida coastline. but Lieutenant Taylor believed he was already west of Florida. So instead, he turned east. It was a fatal mistake. As daylight faded, fuel supplies began running dangerously low. The pilots discussed ditching their aircraft into the ocean. Their final radio transmissions became weaker, then faded completely. One by one, the voices disappeared. 5 aircraft, 14 highly trained military personnel, gone, without a trace. The mystery became even darker. Only minutes after Flight 19 vanished, the U.S. Navy launched a rescue aircraft, a Martin PBM Mariner, with 13 crew members aboard. The rescue plane took off, determined to find the missing pilots, but less than 30 minutes later, it also disappeared. 27 people had now vanished in a single afternoon. No survivors were ever found. To many people, this transformed the story from an accident into something far more mysterious. Newspapers around the world reported the disappearances. Speculation exploded. Some claimed the aircraft had entered another dimension. Others blamed magnetic forces. Some even suggested alien intervention, decades before UFOs became part of popular culture. The public wanted answers, but investigators found none that could fully explain every detail. Years later, historians and aviation experts carefully re-examined the evidence. Their conclusion was far less supernatural. Lieutenant Charles Taylor had previously become lost during training flights. Evidence suggests he mistakenly believed he was flying over the Florida Keys instead of the Bahamas. That single navigational error may have caused the entire squadron to fly farther out into the Atlantic instead of returning to land. As fuel ran out, the aircraft likely crashed into rough seas after sunset. That absence of physical evidence allowed the mystery to grow larger with every passing decade. Books were written, television documentaries appeared, Hollywood embraced the legend. Soon, the Bermuda Triangle was no longer just a location. It had become a global symbol of the unexplained. But an important question still remained. Was the Bermuda Triangle always considered mysterious? Surprisingly, the answer is no. The legend itself had a beginning. And it started not with a disappearance, but with a magazine article that changed history forever. By the late 1940s, the disappearances of USS Cyclops and Flight 19 had already captured public attention. But surprisingly, the phrase Bermuda Triangle did not yet exist. To the world, these were simply isolated maritime and aviation mysteries. Everything changed in the 1950s. Journalists began collecting stories of unexplained disappearances across the Western Atlantic. Some reports were accurate, others were exaggerated, a few were completely unverified. Yet each new story added another layer to an emerging legend. Then, in 1964, one magazine article changed everything. American writer Vincent Gaddis published an article titled "The Deadly Bermuda Triangle." For the first time, several mysterious disappearances were grouped together and presented as if they were connected by a single, invisible force. The article became enormously popular. Suddenly, people weren't reading about separate accidents anymore. They were reading about a place. A place where ships vanished, aircraft disappeared, compasses failed, and logic itself seemed to stop working. The Bermuda Triangle had officially entered popular culture. The Bermuda Triangle had officially entered popular culture. The legend continued to grow throughout the 1970s. In 1974, author Charles Berlitz published the best-selling book, The Bermuda Triangle. The book sold millions of people around the world. It painted an unforgettable picture of an ocean filled with impossible mysteries, ancient civilizations, alien visitors, time warps, hidden dimensions, Atlantis. The book fascinated readers everywhere, but there was one problem. Many of its claims were presented without strong historical evidence. Some incidents were dramatically exaggerated. Others omitted important facts such as severe storms, mechanical failures, or pilot error. Even so, the mystery had already become too powerful. Television documentaries followed. Hollywood produced movies. Countless magazines published sensational headlines. Before long, the Bermuda Triangle became one of the most famous mysteries on Earth. As the legend spread, so did the theories. Some sounded scientific. Others belonged entirely to the world of imagination. Let's explore the most famous ones. 3.1. A magnetic anomaly. Perhaps you've heard the claim that compasses simply stop working inside the Bermuda Triangle. It sounds convincing. After all, Flight 19 reported compass problems. Christopher Columbus also mentioned unusual compass readings. Could the triangle contain some mysterious magnetic force? Not exactly. The Earth has two different norths. One is true north, the geographic North Pole. The other is magnetic north, where a compass actually points. The difference between the two is called magnetic declination. In certain parts of the world, this difference can confuse navigators if they fail to make the proper correction. But here's the important fact. The Bermuda Triangle is not unique. Similar magnetic variations occur all over the planet. Modern aircraft and ships account for these differences automatically using advanced navigation systems. Scientists have found no evidence of a mysterious magnetic field capable of swallowing ships or aircraft. Theory 2. The lost city of Atlantis. Few legends are as captivating as Atlantis. According to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, Atlantis was a powerful civilization that disappeared beneath the sea thousands of years ago. Some believers claim its advanced technology still lies hidden beneath the Bermuda Triangle. They suggest mysterious crystals or unknown energy sources interfere with navigation. It makes for a fascinating story. But despite decades of underwater exploration, no archaeological evidence has ever confirmed that Atlantis existed beneath the Bermuda Triangle. Marine geologists have mapped much of the seafloor in the region. No submerged supercivilization has ever been discovered. Theory 3. Alien visitors. If mysterious disappearances occur, could extraterrestrials be responsible? Some conspiracy theories suggest UFOs use the Bermuda Triangle as an underwater base. Others claim ships and aircraft are abducted for scientific experiments. These stories became especially popular during the Cold War, when interest in flying saucers exploded across the United States. Movies, books, and television helped fuel the idea. But despite decades of speculation, there has never been verified scientific evidence linking UFOs to any disappearance inside the triangle. Extraordinary claims require exoreportic evidence, and so far, none has been found. Asiattt the resimscalations, that the really imcowan dolor of fixabrethatons, and so far, none has been found. Asiatittis aphelians, the cotitty, aphelians distim, enormous squid, sea dragons capable of dragging entire ships underwater. The Bermuda Triangle naturally became associated with these ancient legends. Yet, modern marine biology tells a different story. The Atlantic Ocean is home to incredible creatures, wild whales, sharks, giant squid, but none possess the ability to sink large steel ships or bring down military aircraft. The sea is dangerous. Its wildlife is remarkable. But sea monsters remain the stuff of myth. As each theory was investigated, the evidence became weaker. Yet public fascination only grew stronger, because every mystery leaves one irresistible question behind. If none of these theories are true, then what actually causes so many accidents in this region? The answer may be far more surprising than fiction. And unlike the myths, it is supported by science. Befels, for decades, the Bermuda Triangle has been surrounded by stories of disappearing ships, lost aircraft, and supernatural forces. But what happens when we replace rumors with science? Do the mysteries disappear? Or do they become even more fascinating? Let's examine the evidence. The Gulf Stream, nature's great eraser für Sealtoki. One of the most powerful forces in the Atlantic Ocean is something most people have never heard of: the Gulf Stream. This warm ocean current flows from the Gulf of Mexico past Florida and across the Atlantic toward Europe. It moves astonishing amounts of water, sometimes at speeds of more than 5 miles per hour. To put that into perspective, imagine an airplane crashing into the ocean, or a ship sinking during a storm. Within hours, the Gulf Stream can carry floating debris dozens of miles away from the accident site. Within days, that debris may be scattered across hundreds of miles of open ocean. Search and rescue teams often begin looking where the last radio transmission was received. But by the time they arrive, the evidence may already be gone. This is one reason why many disappearances seem far more mysterious than they actually are. Sometimes, the ocean simply hides its secrets incredibly well. The weather can change in minutes for Geisel. Another important factor is the weather. The Bermuda Triangle lies in a region known for rapidly changing atmospheric conditions. Warm tropical air constantly collides with cooler air masses. This creates violent thunderstorms that can appear almost without warning. Visibility can drop from perfect sunshine to near zero within minutes. Strong winds, heavy rain, dangerous lightning, sudden turbulence within. Even experienced pilots can find themselves in extremely hazardous conditions. For sailors, the dangers are just as serious. A calm sea can transform into towering waves before there is enough time to escape. Before satellites, before Doppler radar, and before modern weather forecasting, many captains simply had no warning at all. Rogue waves. Now imagine a wave, not 20 feet high, not 40 feet high, but over 100 feet tall. These are known as rogue waves. For centuries, sailors believed they were nothing more than myths. Then satellite observations confirmed something astonishing. Rogue waves are real. Unlike ordinary waves, they can appear suddenly, with almost no warning. When one strikes a ship, the impact is enormous. Windows shatter, hulls crack, cargo shifts violently. In severe cases, entire vessels can be overwhelmed. Scientists now believe rogue waves have contributed to numerous maritime disasters around the world, not just inside the Bermuda Triangle, but across the world's oceans. Systems fulgren protarium platelis at the skivning and sired vessels can be overwhelmed. Scientists now believe rogue waves have contributed to numerous maritime disasters around the world, not just inside the Bermuda Triangle, but across the world's oceans. Dismaying human error. Sometimes, the greatest danger isn't nature, it's us. Investigations into many famous disappearances reveal a familiar pattern: navigation mistakes, fuel miscalculations, mechanical failures, poor communication, pilot disorientation, captain fatigue. Even a small error can become catastrophic when combined with bad weather and an unforgiving ocean. Flight 19 is perhaps the best known example. Many aviation historians believe the tragedy began with a simple navigational mistake. One wrong assumption, one incorrect course, and an entire squadron flew farther away from safety instead of toward it. No supernatural force was required, only confusion. Reinchaptural force was required, only confusion. Icar sad a av obeses. One of the most popular scientific theories involves methane. Some researchers once suggested that enormous pockets of methane gas, trapped beneath the ocean floor, could suddenly erupt. As bubbles rose through the water, they might reduce its density. In theory, a ship could lose buoyancy and sink unusually quickly. It sounds convincing. And laboratory experiments have shown that this effect is physically possible under controlled conditions. However, there's one major problem. Scientists have found no evidence that methane eruptions large enough to sink modern ships are occurring in the Bermuda Triangle today. Any methane deposits in the region are either too small, too deep, or simply inactive. While methane remains an interesting scientific hypothesis, it is no longer considered the leading explanation. Is the Bermuda Triangle more dangerous than anywhere else? This, as perhaps the biggest surprise of all, is the answer to this question. According to marine researchers, the U.S. Coast Guard, and oceanographers, no. Millions of ships and aircraft have crossed the Bermuda Triangle safely, every single year. The number of accidents in this region is roughly consistent with other heavily traveled parts of the world's oceans. In other words, because so many vessels pass through this area, accidents are statistically expected to happen. The Bermuda Triangle isn't necessarily more dangerous, it is simply more famous. For more than 100 years, the Bermuda Triangle has inspired fear, fascination, and endless debate. Countless books have been written, documentaries have been filmed. Hollywood has transformed it into a place where reality bends, time stands still, and people vanish without explanation. But after examining the evidence, where does the truth actually lie? Throughout this documentary, we've explored some of history's most famous disappearances. The mysterious loss of the USS Cyclops, the tragic story of Flight 19, the observations recorded by Christopher Columbus, the legend of the Ellen Austin. Each story added another piece to the puzzle. Some are supported by historical records. Others grew larger with every retelling. And that may be the greatest lesson of all. History and legend are not always the same thing. Human beings have always been drawn to mystery. When we cannot explain something, our imagination naturally fills the gaps. Thousands of years ago, people blamed eclipses on angry gods. Lightning was believed to be a weapon thrown from the heavens. Comets were seen as omens of disaster. Today, science has explained many of those mysteries. Yet new mysteries continue to emerge. And the Bermuda Triangle became one of the greatest examples of this human instinct. When ships disappeared, people searched for extraordinary explanations. When aircraft vanished, people mourned was the greatest examples of this human instinct. When ships disappeared, people searched for extraordinary explanations. When aircraft vanished, be imagined impossible forces. Sometimes, the unknown feels more exciting than the known. But science tells a different story. There is no verified evidence of portals to another dimension. No confirmed underwater alien base. No hidden technology from Atlantis. No sea monster lurking beneath the Atlantic. No mysterious magnetic force capable of swallowing modern aircraft. Instead, investigators repeatedly find familiar causes: severe weather, powerful ocean currents, no Balzagrace, no Balzagration, Mavanaili, Aras, Onfaz, Cert. Each factor may seem ordinary on its own, but together, they can create extraordinary tragedies. Perhaps the greatest misconception is that ships and airplanes constantly disappear inside the Bermuda Triangle. The reality is very different. Every single day, commercial airliners cross these skies. Cargo ships transport millions of tons of goods through these waters. Luxury cruise ships sail across the region carrying thousands of passengers. Private yachts, fishing vessels, military aircraft, research ships. They all travel through the Bermuda Triangle safely, year after year. If this region truly possessed supernatural powers, global shipping and aviation would never rely on it as one of the busiest transportation corridors in the Atlantic. And yet, they do. Because modern evidence shows that the Bermuda Triangle is not uniquely dangerous. It is simply one of the world's most heavily traveled stretches of ocean. That doesn't mean every mystery has been solved. The Atlantic Ocean is vast. Some shipwrecks may never be found. Some aircraft may remain hidden beneath miles of water forever. The ocean still guards countless secrets. But unsolved does not automatically mean unexplainable. Sometimes, the evidence simply no longer exists. The sea has a remarkable ability to erase its own history. So, why does the legend refuse to die? Because the Bermuda Triangle represents something larger than itself. It reminds us that humanity still longs for mystery. We want to believe there are places on Earth that science cannot fully explain. Places where adventure still exists, where maps leave questions unanswered, where imagination meets reality. Perhaps that's why the Bermuda Triangle continues to capture our attention, generation after generation. Not because it defies science, but because it challenges our curiosity. In the end, the Bermuda Triangle teaches us something far more valuable than fear. It teaches us to question extraordinary claims, to examine evidence before accepting conclusions, to separate fact from fiction, and to remember that true discovery begins, not with certainty, but with curiosity. Because history is filled with mysteries. Some have already been solved, others are still waiting. And somewhere beyond the horizon, the next great mystery is already calling. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of the world's most enduring legends. If you enjoyed this documentary and love exploring the mysteries that shaped our world, be sure to subscribe to Wonder Vault of History. Because every artifact, every civilization, every forgotten story has a secret waiting to be uncovered. And we'll see you in the next chapter of history.